On the inside line going into the first corner, it's going to be good. Hamjam versus Freeman. It's a short run towards La Source. And here we go then. Just looking for a good camera angle. Let's go, Sim. The 5 lights are on. And the Belgium Grand Prix is on their way. Good gets away by Jamham. Oh, sorry, by Hamjam. But the McLaren is trying to slot himself into P1 around the outside, going into the first 2 corners. And it's for McLaren 2-3 at the moment. Looks like Jamham is fighting with Coach going into Rouge. And Jamham is going to take 3rd. Hamjam leads the way still. And it looks like Coach is all over the back. No, it's actually Freeman all over the back of Hamjam. And like Sebastian Vettel, here comes Freeman trying to go around the outside into the final, to the next chicane. Here we go. Who's going to be leading? Freeman is on the outside. Hamjam is on the inside. Freeman leads away going into the first lap. And Hamjam is going to go back at him. What a move by Hamjam in the first lap of the Grand Prix. Freeman is in 2nd. In 3rd is Jamham. And right behind them is Ghost Coach. And there's a battle going on as well. Beast Assassin fighting there with Zydred for P5. Zydred is going to conceal a position. Can he take him back? I wonder. Race Roller just ahead of his teammate Flamebug in P8. In P9 is Bezos. In P10 is Hilpalicious. Wow.
Yeah, Freeman, he made the move into the hairpin, no, into the chicane, sorry, but then slightly overcooked it, and that allowed Ham to go right back past. And what a start once again from Zydred, as Ham's made another mistake, and this is going to put Freeman right on him to launch him on into the bus stop chicane.
Freeman is closing in now. He could take the lead going into the bus stop. Here we go. Then he's closing in fast. He's all over. Not only his gearbox, he's now wheel to wheel going into turn 17. Super quick. Side by side. Neck and neck going into the final chicane. Who's going to lead going into the 2nd lap? For goodness sake, it's going to be Hamjam. As Jamham crashes into the back of Freeman. Not enough to get himself damaged. But still, well, Freeman breathing down Hamjam's neck. But we could see a move going into turn 1. Here we go. Then Freeman is going to try to go for the lunge. Not really, but who's gonna try? It's gonna be Coach. He's gonna make contact with his teammates, but not enough to cause any damage. But wow.
Yeah, Ghost Colt slightly overcooked himself in turn 1, trying to make a move on Jamham, and nearly went into the back. Well, he did go into the back of his teammates. So, and that's put Freeman under a lot of pressure from Jamham. Can Jamham potentially make a move? No, he cannot. Not as of yet. As unfortunately Hoopalicious has disconnected, having invited him back to the session, so hopefully he is back in and will be able to retake control of his car, but that's going to set him back so badly. I think he's nearly dropped down into last place. He's fighting with his teammate who started all the way down near the back row. Disaster for Hoopalicious.
Okay, so Sam, if you could invite Hopalicious back, that would be lovely, mate.
I did a couple of times already.
Oh,
yeah, I've already invited him a couple of times. I will try as many times as I can until I get a notification that he's joined back into the session. Yeah, I can just see he's taking control of his car now. Hoop is now back in. Hoop's now back in a little bit. As LP Smoke has just picked up a time penalty. That is the first penalty of the day.
Well, here we go then. 3 seconds to SLR Smoke, who's sitting in P16 at the moment. And as Hamjam leads the way going into the 3rd lap, so he needs to, well, in the next lap, we will have DRS activated. As you see, Freeman all over the back of him. Freeman looking to win once again. And, well, if you're new to the stream, if you're new to this, now, finally, the leaderboards are okay and are good to go, because we don't have now Codemasters glitching the leaderboard. So Hamjam is indeed leading the way. Good result for the McLarens. But now with DRS activated this lap, I believe it is, Freeman is gonna, well, have all the tools that he needs to overtake Hamjam into, I always forget the name of this straight, a Camel Straight. And here we go then. Freeman making usage of the DRS is gonna slot himself into the 1st place. What happened?
Smoke crashed at Eau Rouge at the background. Is there going to maybe be a safety car here? That could really mix up this race. Have to be seen. It is still just yellow flags in sector 1, so looks like we are going to be doing without a safety car, as they have now been cleared away. As I can, yeah, I can hear the trumpet now.
Oh yes.
The trumpet signifies a driving time. I guess we could use that as the, like, oh, I think we need a, I think we need a trumpet emote onto the SLR Twitch channel.
We do.
But Freeman took the lead in that. I think Freeman...
It's fantastic, but B-Dunk losing position to the man who's, well, sitting in, or B-Dunk there, fighting with, I believe, Senator for P14. Senator, who's kind of like the George Russell of SLR, looking to take his first points, as you see there. Quicks losing the back of his car just a little bit, but correcting it in the process. But now Tommy on his debut, sitting in P16 for the AlphaTauri, and as they say that, he's looking to, well, he's probably gonna lose that because Tupolicious is trying to go all the way around the outside, approaching and now heading towards third 17. He's, oh, look at this wheel-to-wheel action between a great stuff as Tupolicious is trying to put on a recovery drive. He's gonna start having go his teammates as well, as he does, but now his teammate's gonna go wide. I believe someone's gonna come into the pits, or am I wrong?
Yep, that is B-Dunk. I assume B-Dunk must have some kind of damage, as Southerner does let past his teammate. There's no surprise there, to be honest. Hoopalicious clearly showed a lot more pace in Q1 and Q2, so it makes sense for Southern to kind of play the team game, maybe even stick with his teammates DRS for a couple of laps and try and close back up to the rest of the field. As interestingly, there's a massive DRS train with Zydred making a move on Beast here. Always make contact.
Oh no!
Zydred is round.
Zydred is round. Last week's Grand Prix winner is involved in something here. He made contact. I wonder with who. I believe Sam is going to be able to provide me the information. Do you know who?
That was with UK Beast Assassin. Zydred, he saw a little gap on the inside, went up Beast inside. The two of them made contact. It's hard to tell really whether that was Zydred breaking quite late and spinning round, or whether that was UK Beast Assassin perhaps turning in on him. Of course, I am sure both drivers will have their side of that, as we've seen today with in the actual F1. It always works out that way. But yeah, Zydred has been a massive loser there, all the way down to P14 now.
Wow, I wonder if the stewards will have a little look at whatever happened there. So yeah, the graphics are showing the leader and the interval, so it's a little bit messy. Let's see if I can change that up. Yes, I can. Here we go then. You see the gaps. The top 8 on a set of soft, so Combat managed to get himself into P9 in the first few laps. Hamjam is again on the back of Freeman. He's surely gonna use the DRS to stay just there, just behind Freeman in the next few laps. Jamham is in third as well. His brother looking to well, finish in good points because his championship rival Hoopalicious is in P13, not even on the points. But it's only lap 5 out of 22, so we could be seeing Hoopalicious putting on a recovery drive, couldn't we?
Yes, absolutely. As a driver who's hurling a lot up the field is Sid Rayner. He was starting P18, and he was as high as P11 before just being overtaken by Kevin GT. And I think the driver who we need to keep a very big eye on is V2X Combat. He's on the medium tyre and he has managed to stay with the drivers on the softs at the initial part of the race. And yeah, that's going to be one that's going to be very, very important for the later part of the race. V2 will be able to make a charge later on in the race on the soft compound tyre and perhaps become a factor in the top 5 in this race.
Oh, and is that a time penalty for B-Dunk there? B-Dunk who's sitting in P18, 21 seconds behind Tommy on his debut. So this is fantastic. And here we go then. Hamjam on the back of Freeman as well. We could be seeing him move in the next lap. He's closed it in fast. Oh, he's right on his gearbox now. And well, with 34 viewers, we could be seeing him move for the lead here then. Hamjam, who, well, started first, lost 1 place. And you can see the tire condition of Hamjam, 50% on those set of softs. So we could be seeing, okay then, so some people talking about the map. Let's just turn that on then. Here we go. Yeah, completely forgot about that. So my apologies. Even though you're gonna see there a little bit of a the F1 logo there. I don't think it's gonna be a problem. So yeah, I completely forgot about that. So my apologies.
Out of the P5, race roll around the outside of UK Beast Assassin makes the move very easily. Beast has used a lot of his ERS to try and stay with the top 4, and unfortunately for him, lost the DRS, which allowed Race Rollers to take a move as Flembog has just picked up a penalty.
Yeah, Flambog, who's sitting in P7 with that penalty. He's gonna drop back a lot of positions if he finishes where he is, and that's a big if, because trust me, probably it won't happen. But with my dad playing the trumpet on the background once again, well, I thought it was gonna happen only once, but well, it's happening again, and it's lovely. But I'm looking at the stream chat, some people saying thank you. Yeah, I completely forgot, so yeah, you don't have to thank me, it's my fault. Forgot about track map. So yeah, as we go into the 6th lap of the Grand Prix, Freeman still leads ahead of Ham Jam. Coach is sitting in P4. He's usually the man who's well, the second driver of the McLaren. But you might be wondering, well, my dad is playing the Rocky theme, and well, with that, it's going to be a little bit of an inspiration for Ham Jam to run fast and go for the move on Freeman. Let's see what he's going to do. Freeman pits now. He's going to go for
Freeman.
Probably trying to deny a undercut.
Yeah, I'd expect so. I expect he's probably found a decent bit of clean air, and will be able. As there's a VSC here now, and this conveniently this is going to really help Freeman here, I think, because he would have made half of his pit stop under VSC. So he's going to have made half of that pit stop, and he's going to have gained at least a couple of seconds, I'd have thought, from this pit stop under VSC. So a move to deny the undercut for Freeman could potentially turn into a stroke of very good fortune, which could potentially see him extend his lead.
Exactly.
As the VSC, I'm sure, is going to be ending soon.
But
very important the drivers don't get drive-through penalties here.
But Sam,
as Kevin has just got a drive.
No. Kevin GT gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car, and Ray, I always forget his name. Of course, he's a no here. Let me just, that's Reyna. I always forget his name. I say always, but he just joined, so I don't think it's a problem. But Reyna, it could be on 4 points here, and his debut. Wouldn't that be simply fantastic here? As I believe Kevin GT is losing some places there. The man who's got a drive-through penalty. Where is he? He's going backwards. He spun, I believe.
He's spun, yeah.
Oh, he's having
I imagine that probably lost a lot of confidence in himself after that spin. As will we see Ham and Jam and maybe Ghost pit. Ham and Jam do react to Freeman's stop.
Go stay out.
As does Race Roller, as does Beast. And yes, Ghost is staying out for that overcut. Interestingly, will Ham potentially get held up in the pits?
Oh, let's see. No, he's not. Well, good for him. But you might be wondering, oh, Freeman has, what's the advantage that he could have gotten in that virtual safety car? Maybe just 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts. But well, let me tell you something. Formula 1, that's all you need. But Ham Jam is going to come
Freeman's
out
got 4 seconds
behind Freeman. And could you say that again, Sam, just so everyone knows the difference?
4 seconds Freeman has gained from that VSC pit stop. Lady Luck is well and truly on ABR Freeman's side with that VSC helped pit stop. I believe Ham, whilst he didn't immediately get held up by drivers coming out, I believe, you know, the whole thing sometimes when you get released into the path of traffic and that traffic can cause you to kind of just lag backwards or brake a little bit or something like that. I think that's basically what's happened to him. And he's probably lost about a second or so. So it would have probably been about 3.5 seconds, but it's been made even worse. But Freeman is now approaching traffic. This is probably a crucial part of the race to keep an eye out on. Freeman will have the oldest tyres that are only one in the top few positions.
Oh, Tommy.
But he will but he has traffic now.
Yeah.
Tommy Real and SLR Southerner.
He's all over the back of Southerner. He could be going for the move on his debut. It's so good to see a couple of rookies joining the grid. But into the good old bus stop chicane, Combat is going to make a move on Flambog. But Southerner, and we have there, I believe, who's that? That's Freeman making a move and trying to get the traffic out of the way. Flambog is coming into the pits. Let's see where he's going to come out. He comes into the pits alongside Colt. So yeah, as Ham Jam just flies past them there in the start-finish line. In the main straight, actually, Jam Ham is going to go through. Let's see if they lost a lot of time. Flambog is going to come out.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Colt didn't actually lose much time at all. He's kept track position, and he will have a lap fresher tyres and still be in the DRS of Ham Jam and Jam Ham. So that overcut's worked quite well, and the undercut's worked well for Freeman as he moves up into P5 now, with just the drivers on the medium compound tyres who are yet to pit ahead of him.
Well, it's not possible, but I'm looking here. Ignore the little thing there on the leaderboard says leader. Well, that's actually the gap between the drivers. You can guess that as Idred moves up into. Oh no!
He's spun on the top of the Camel Straight in that chicane.
Is that going to bring out a safety car?
I don't think he's got terminal damage. I don't even think he's got any damage at all. So I think we're going to be all right in the front in that sense, but.
Yeah.
But yeah, big mistake there from him, and that's.
B-Dunk is out as well.
Going to cost him any shot of. Yeah, B-Dunk. That's what brought out the VSC. Was B-Dunk retiring at Stavilo. He had a little incident, and yeah, has caused him to retire from the session, which brought out the VSC.
Sam, a little game for you. Try to find one driver on this grid who's not on a set of mediums. Simply impossible. Everyone. Literally everyone is on a set of mediums.
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have it. I had it on position change because even though position change is completely useless because not many drivers haven't made stops. Yeah, because all the drivers have made stops, so position change is kind of completely useless.
Oh, and Hopalicious, sorry mate, Hopalicious almost lost it coming out of Rodelion. That's surely a track limit warning as he makes himself up into P3 ahead of Rayman. Rayna, actually. I'm terrible with names.
You call him Rayman?
Let me just pretend that didn't happen because I am terrible with names. I know I need to be, because if you want to be a commentator you have to remember the names, but I am terrible. Can you remember in France when I couldn't even remember Ranga's name? Well, it's just me, isn't it? But I'm looking at the grid. Everyone looks like they love the white the yellow color. They love using those set of mediums. Well, when do you think, Sam, or do you have any idea when the mediums are gonna pit? The medium drivers are gonna pit, because it looks like.
I expect them all to go on a set of softs, and from doing some kind of laps in practice myself, I found they lasted maybe 8 or 9 laps roughly. So I'd estimate that you'll probably see those guys pitting around about. Maybe lap 12 at the earliest, but probably around about lap 13 would be the optimal lap to box for a set of softs. He's going to want them to have reasonable freshness at the end of the race.
Yeah.
To make that attack on the drivers who are going to be on their aging mediums.
Yeah, I'm going now with Tommy. Tommy will again. Tommy trying to have a go on Southerner going into the Camel Straight now as they go down here towards Rouge, and about 12 stories towards Rodelion. There they go, the AlphaTauri, just 314 kilometers per hour. And even with the help of DRS, he's not going to be able to move himself up into P6. So yeah, they're going to pit at one point in the race, as I believe Flambog made a move on his teammates.
Yeah, I wonder whether Race Robin can put up too much of a fight. He knows that Flambog has a time penalty, as he just picks up one himself. I was literally going to say he knows he has a penalty, which doesn't matter because he doesn't have one himself. But the commentator's curse got him even before I finished my sentence. So you're you're welcome, Roller. I'm sure you're going to watch back. I'm sure you're maybe going to watch back the stream. But yeah, you're welcome for the curse gave you and the little penalty that you have now received.
No, trust me when I say this, he probably hates you right now. Tommy Real.
I think he hates me anyway.
Oh,
I race with him quite a lot. I race with him in a couple of leagues. Yeah, we're on the same stewards team as well.
Yeah,
so.
Hamjan, by the way, who's trying to clear the traffic and maybe try to close in on Freeman, who's a long, long way ahead of him. But going on board now, jumping on board now with Hamjan. We see Tommy Rio going side by side with Southerner going into the bus stop chicane. We've been seeing a lot of action through there. And as they push each other wide, actually, you see Tommy pushing him wide. And it looks like round the outside goes Hamjam, clearing the traffic, and Jamham says, well, thank you very much, my brother, for clearing the traffic. I'm gonna easily go past them, and now all over the back of you. So this could be the battle for P2 between the Ham brothers and Tommy, who goes uphill. Jamham with the help of DRS and the energy, well, I completely forgot what it stands for, but ERS. It's gonna be Jamham versus his brother versus Hamjam going into La Source, and it's gonna be Jamham moving himself into P5 as Southerner faces Tommy into the next few corners. They're going side by side, but still neck and neck going into Boucher, and Southerner trying to stay still all the way around the outside of the AlphaTauri. He's gonna eventually have to give the position to him, and he's gonna have Coach all over the back of them as well. So Southerner and Tommy Rio, the big, they are the traffic that everyone should be worrying about here.
Yes, that was
Look
a
at Coach.
brilliant display of driving there from Ham, and most notably Jam for showing their experience there by being able to magnificently make their way through those two drivers. I get the sense that Tommy Rio didn't really want to impact their races too heavily because he knows that he's in a completely different race with them, and they're all very, very respectful. And as Flembog has also made it past Southerner as well, so they're going to falling backwards quite a bit with those aging mediums. As Hoopalicious recently just pitched for a set of softs, and Nicky is just going to pit now as well.
Nicky pits now. Let's see, well, he was on a set of mediums, now on a set of softs. Now, lap 13 out of 22, I wonder if those softs can last to the end of the race. They're going to be pretty quick in the next few laps, but of course, as we approach the 22nd lap of the Grand Prix, as Freeman makes his way up to second, but when we approach lap 22, those softs will be extremely slow, and they will struggle indeed. Now it's all about going for moves early. Tom is... Oh, what's happening here?
Tommy spun.
Flambog makes contact with him as well. Flambog.
Tommy and Ghost were fighting, and Flembog got caught up in it. I completely missed that.
Wow.
I was on board with something completely different. And yet, Real has been knocked down all the way to P15 there on an 18 set of mediums, and Flembog has been dropped behind his teammate.
So all the penalties as well. He has penalties, he has everything to push him back, but we keep an eye on those two here. Jamham and Hamjam, well, fighting for what's gonna be, I believe, Map P2, because Freeman, when I say gone into the distance, I really mean it. This man is literally on another league. If he wins this race by the difference that we're seeing here, that would be my driver of the day. But of course, the race is not over. We just got out of lap 11, which is the halfway point of the race. So as Freeman puts on the fastest lap, V2X Combat is gonna come into the pits. Southerner, I believe, will as well. And now with only what's his name? The Haas.
Sync Reina is the only one.
Reina.
The top guys who haven't pitted. As Zydrad and V2X Combat are now fighting right on pit exit. Zydrad managed to play himself back into the race after his spin.
Oh, and Hamjam, here we go then. Here we go. Sorry, Sam, to interrupt you, but I have to do it because Hamjam, once again, we see those two changing positions. Now, back to what you were saying.
Gone down the inside of Zydrad. Yeah, as expected, V2's now looking very, very quick on his softs. And I reckon he can get up easily ahead of the likes of Flambog and Race Roller, and maybe even potentially challenge Ghost Corp's effective P4 position at the end of this stint. V2 is going to be absolutely gunning for it on these soft tyres.
Exactly. Zydrad is trying to put on a comeback drive. Of course, a lot of drivers with penalties could push him further into the grid order, but well, let's just see. At the moment, Reina is, oh, finally I got his name right. Crazy scenes, or should I say biblical scenes. Reina is in second place. When he pits, he's probably going to drop down to the bottom of 10. But now V2X Combat was going to try to have a go on Beast Assassin. He easily makes his way past the Haas driver, Tommy Real, getting a tying penalty here. A lot of people on their debuts, so we should be expecting a lot of nervous faces. Here we go, then Beast Assassin is yet to pit, I believe. So Reina now comes into the pits. That's interesting.
Yeah, that is very interesting that he has waited this long compared to the others. But he is going to have the freshest soft tyres out of everybody who is on the alternate strategy. So
is that the overcut?
So potentially, well, he's going to have lost a lot of time to them, obviously, but later on in the race, his softs will die a lot less than the others. As speaking of fresh softs, V2X Combat making yet another move down the inside of Race Roller.
Oh, here we go, then Combat and Race Roller on a set of mediums versus mediums here in today's Grand Prix. Oh, sorry, Combat actually on a set of softs, I believe, so it's going to be an interesting one between them. I'm having some hiccups right now, so yeah, ignore that. Ahead of him is Flambog, who's sitting in P5, so I'm also keeping an eye on Jam Ham, those two being battling throughout the race. And as we've seen a couple of minutes ago, or seconds, everyone has pitted this far. So Freeman with the fastest lap, a long way ahead of the pack. So it's ultimately the battle for P2, isn't it?
Yes, and interestingly, it's also going to be the battle for P5, which will probably become P6, as Flambog, well, you have a look on the track map, just how close everyone is from Flambog, even all the way down to Nicky, who's making a move up the inside of Para.
Oh, here we go, then those
P11.
two.
He's on fresh softs, and he has no penalties.
Nicky.
So Nicky is due to get a decent number of points here.
Oh, with the dummy goes Quicks, and making his way up into P11 is Para. Quicks having to go all the way around the outside there. Not a place of the track that you can find a traction. You see Nicky trying to warm up his tires, but it looks like he is struggling. Overcast conditions here, so they're surely struggling.
And the jam again. Jams in the DRS.
Oh, here we go.
Move.
Jamham up into second.
I wonder whether they're potentially using each other for DRS to try and get close to Freeman.
Good point.
As V2 has made a relatively easy move on Flambog, moving his way up into P5, and now Ghost has to look behind him. That's probably the fastest lap of the race.
Are you seeing that? Tommy Real, 143.692. What's the track record?
It's a 143.3. So Connor, if you're watching this, you still have it.
Yes, you still have it, but well, for how long I wonder. Jamham, like you said before, Freeman. Did I just call you Freeman? I can't believe it, Sam. Those two could be using each other. Of course, they are brothers, so they could fight it out in the later stages of the Grand Prix. Jamham, who is I mean, with this result, we could be seeing this man, basically a guaranteed championship winner. But we do have many rounds to go. This is only round 14 here in this championship, so expect a lot of things to happen here. Jamham sitting in second place, but I see, well, let me just take a look at their ERS. Looks like both of them are actually using it. So are they usually using it to try to close the gap on Freeman? Because it looks like it's kind of working, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to close in by enough unless Freeman makes a mistake, or potentially gets a time penalty, of course, later in this race. But but at the moment they are closing in on him bit by bit. Interestingly, Jam looks to have a lot better pace than his brother at the moment, and is mounting more of an attack himself. He's the driver that wants to lead. As further behind, Beast and Race Roller battling it out, and Beast makes his way up into P7.
Oh, here we go, then three-way battle. Race Roller gets forced off wide there and down to P9, and that is gonna force Supalicious wide. The man who's desperate to move up some places here on a set of softs. He could have a good go on the inside into... Forgot the name of the corner, but here we go. Then Race Roller is under pressure. Supalicious is... Oh, that's Bruce Shad that I forgot the name. Well, this corner I don't even need to remember the name because it's the no-name corner. But Zydred, who's on the back of Beast Assassin, fighting for 7th. But Supalicious, I was about to say how he was in a good position to take some places because of the penalties, but of course, every time I think about something, the commentator's curse is not only about when you talk and you say something there, I believe it's when you even think about it, so I'm gonna shut up for the rest of the race. I think that's better.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention anybody who doesn't have penalties, because if I mention or even think about drivers that don't have penalties,
look at Hope.
Then, as you said, they will get penalties. But Supalicious has made his way up into P9, had a race roller here, so
yeah,
still could potentially gain these places even without that.
Start at 10th.
As look now, V2X Combat is now in the DRS of Ghost Coat.
Yeah, here we go, then a combat versus Coat. We have Hamjam versus Jamham. Who's gonna come out on top between them? Because overall, I do believe it's gonna be Freeman if he maintains his pace. But of course, this is league racing, anything can happen. And well, is it only my screen? But I believe Jamham is, well, Hamjam is within 1 second to Jamham, so he's using the
as his combat.
But now,
down the inside of
for the 5th time today, he's gonna move his way up into P5. That being combat and Coat and combat just trading positions like, well, I don't know what, but it is amazing how every single lap there's a move happening on this track.
Yeah, I think a driver we need to give a big honourable mention to for his fantastic recovery drive, Zydrad. I believe Zydrad would have been contending. I believe Zydrad without his spin would have been contending for a podium, because he's made his way up into P7 ahead of UK Beast Assassin, and he must have lost about 5-10 seconds even before that, because of that spin, and he's now re-overtaken Beast. So he's just showing how much pace he has, even with older tyres than the guys around him. The oldest tyres in the field, medium tyres. Showing some fantastic speed at the moment is Zydrad, and it's into P7, but he is going to have to look behind him as Supalicious is now making a move on UK Beast Assassin.
Oh, Supalicious, look at this man. Can he go for the move into the final chicane? 19 corners, but into turn 17. UK Beast Assassin defends the inside line. You see the tire condition of Supalicious as we speak. Those tires are getting more and more wear down. Here we go, the UK Beast Assassin into La Source. Is he going to try to defend, or Supalicious thinks better of it? And now it's a time that we could see, well, Hamjam is probably not going to go for the move. He's not close enough. Looks like Coat and Combat are not close to each other.
Trying to make a move into a Rouge here. Side by side. And they've made it stick without having an absolute airboat crash. Absolutely fantastic racing between Hoop and UK Beast Assassin.
Brilliant, and he's coming back at him. It's not over. Beast Assassin, oh well, killing Supalicious. Let's just kill it. Let's call it like that. Simply fantastic there. Supalicious into P9. And well, let's just say, oh, Paraquix losing a position there to Reina. Reina moving himself up into P12, doing a good job here in his debut. Tommy, real Tommy, is in P17 with the fastest lap. So yeah, well, he could take home that the pride of taking the fastest lap. But UK Beast Assassin as Supalicious cuts the corner there and well, goes too wide actually and loses 3 seconds with a time penalty. So well, that's not good for Supalicious, and Supalicious is having once again another race to forget.
Yes, this is kind of all stemmed from his disconnection at the start of the race, you must say. As well, you have a look at where V2X Combat is on that alternate strategy, and Supalicious, you feel, certainly would have been up there with him. He was ahead of V2 at the start of the race, but
yeah, you might be.
but instead he's got to be settling potentially for a non-point scoring position. At the moment, Nicky's due to beat him, and even Rayna's due to beat him. And Rayna's got much fresher softs than Luke.
Sam, just take a look at the V2X Combat. He made up 8 positions here in this Grand Prix. Simply fantastic by V2X Combat. And that's, oh, what's that? Is that Hamjam making his way up into second again? And with 3 laps to go, this is getting, well, as we speak, this is getting more and more exciting. Who's going to take second place here? Hamjam and Jamham trading positions. Kevin GT is going to lose a position down there for the real Tommy in P16. Jamham, I wonder if he's letting his teammates through and he's going to try to go for the move on the final lap. I wonder, but you might be wondering what are the championship standings. Here we go then on your screen right now. Jamham is leading the championship ahead of Fupalicious, who's sitting down there in P9 with lots of time penalties. Hamjam, who's sitting in second, is ahead. Oh, and with Fupalicious with another time penalty, I wonder if Hamjam is the next man to challenge Jamham for the championship victory. He's sitting in third on the championship and second in the positions right now. Freeman, who's fourth, is leading the way. Crispy couldn't be here today. Zydred is in sixth and Roland seventh. So you see the driver points, and now you see the constructors points. Williams ahead of the AlphaTauri in the standings, only 11 points, or should I say 9 points ahead of the AlphaTauri team. McLaren in third. So it's very interesting to see how this all plays out in the championship.
Yes, it's very, very interesting. Hoopalicious, I'm sure, is now pretty much certain to not finish in the points, and has been stuck behind UKB's Assassin for so long that I think his tyre difference is kind of not really significant at all anymore. It's soft tyres grade a lot more than medium tyres, and his are only 4 laps younger. As, oh, look at this. Flembog has made a move on Ghost.
Wow, Flembog was probably going to lose a lot of positions after his penalty. He's going to lose a place. Hoopalicious.
Race roller, the 3 wide. The 3 wide.
Let me just go. Oh, look at this. And a race roller. Well, rolling around and losing time. Hoopalicious with yet another time penalty, and race roller losing place. I believe she lost his car. He's out of the points. And well, that's such a shame for the Alfa Romeo driver. His teammate is sitting in P5 at the moment, and Hoopalicious, how many penalties can one man get? I wonder, and that's terrible for his championship hopes. And with that, Jamham is probably going to be comfortably up there ahead in the championship standings. But now his next rival, I believe it's going to be Hamjam, as you see here. Hoopalicious all over the track. We're having a moment there into turn 14, but Hoopalicious not feeling the track, I should say. And then in the final, oh, it's again another time penalty. It's a time penalty fest here in Belgium. And as we enter now the final lap of the Belgium Grand Prix, Freeman a long way ahead of everyone, but now the fight is for second place. Hamjam, who was starting on pole, lost a position and is down to P2, but Jamham, who started fourth, up into P3, but he's looking to make that too. Let's see what he's gonna do. Uphill now, up towards Rodillon. The Camel Straight is gonna decide who's gonna take second place here in today's Belgium Grand Prix. Jamham has his brothers on his side, and into Lacombe. Is it gonna be Jam? Is it gonna be Ham? It's gonna be both, but with Jamham on top, and it's gonna be Jamham into P2. His best chance is here now. If Hamjam wants to fight back, he has the bus option. Okay, and here we go then. Now, Beast Assassin moving his way up into P8. Hoopalicious not having a good Grand Prix. And oh, look at that! Is that 2 cars completely smashing there on the Camel Straight? There's contact. That's Reyna and Race Roller. They made contact and are out of the race. What a thrilling final lap.
Sync Reyna was on for points with no penalties. He would have gained positions on at least Hoopalicious, and he would have gained position on at least Hoopalicious, I'm sure, and at least Paraclix ahead of him. But him and Race Roll have come together on the very last lap.
On the very last lap. And Hoopalicious is going to lose a place now. Here we go. Freeman Well, this man, he has done wonders here. It's been a while since we've seen him on top, but well, the wait, it was all worth it. His last win was in France ahead of Jamham. The same scenes happen again as the McLaren now sees the checkered flag, and Freeman is the Grand Prix winner. He takes victory in Belgium. Jamham comes home to take second place. Hamjam is gonna finish third. V2X Combat is...
Zydrad's gone off.
Zydrad's gone
Zydrad's
off!
got a puncture
Oh,
on
in
the
the final corner!
I think what's happened with Zydrad is he must have got a puncture on the final corner, and that's caught him out.
Oh, he's got a puncture!
He's completely outbroke himself, and well, I thought he'd crossed the line, and that was his car after he'd crossed the line with a puncture, but it wasn't.
And that is a puncture for Zydrad. He finishes 9th. He takes points here, but finishing off the podium positions is Hamjam. V2X Combat finishes on the points. And I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that's his first points of the season. I was looking at the championship standings before going into this race, and he had 0 points. So I believe that's it. V2X Combat gaining his first points here in this season for the AlphaTauri team. He gets driver of the day. Well, that's the game's opinion, but that's also my opinion. What a fantastic drive by the man who, if you take a look at, he's from all over the world. You're gonna know why I'm talking about this in a second. But it's fantastic stuff. Freeman takes victory here in Belgium. He wins in Spa. What a fantastic Grand Prix that we had. Lots of action from start to finish. And Jamham, both the brothers, fighting all the time, all the race. Freeman, the Ferrari on top of the podium. We saw Ferrari on the podium. Well, what am I talking about? Not Ferrari, but we see McLaren on top of the podium. V2X Combat in P4. Ghost Code, talking about McLaren, speaking of him, Ghost Code finishes 5th. So that is pretty good for him indeed. Flimbog in P6 for the Alfa Romeo team. He had a penalty, I believe. SLR Nikki is going to come home in 7th. And in the lower places, we have UKB's Assassin bringing some points for the Haas team. Zydrad, last week's Grand Prix winner, is going to finish where he started, P9. Paraquix moved up three places and is going to finish P10. So here we go then. That's the Belgium Grand Prix. And well, action from start to finish. We saw there a couple of new faces on the grid, the rookies. Let's see where they finished. Tommy Real finished P14. Reina, Sync finished P16. So that's interesting to see. A couple of people did not finish the race. And now, on to the driver interviews.
Yes, can we also please in the chat have your votes for driver of the day?
Good.
I feel like the mentions have to be. I feel like the mentions really. 2 drivers stand out, and that would be V2X Combat from recovering from getting knocked out in Q2 to finish P4 on the alternate strategy, and of course ABR Freeman taking the victory. That's for me. It's probably in between.
Should we start with ABR Freeman? And or do we start with first or third?
We start with third.
Start with third. So I believe that is Hamjam. So he's on a party, isn't he?
I think they're all on the party now. Yep. So it was Ham, then it was Freeman, then Jam, then Ham. So we'll start off with the P3 driver in Hamjam. Oh. Well, in very, very tricky conditions, you managed to take a pole position, but unfortunately, of course, you couldn't convert it. But still come through with yet another podium. I believe that is now your 3rd podium in a row, I want to say. Are you happy? Are you happy with your result? Do you feel there could have been any more in there for you? And talk us through your race.
I'm happy with the drive. I felt my pace was really good. Well, I think James and I both showed our pace was really good. Not necessarily the result. I mean, it's tricky to say what would have happened, but I think Freeman got a bit lucky there, to be honest, because, I mean, you saw how much we gained on him at the end there. BSC basically gave him 5 seconds and we couldn't make it up. I think it would have been a very interesting race otherwise. So I was really pleased with my pace, really pleased with my drive. Maybe felt I should have been at least P2 really. But you know, we move. It's like you say, third podium in a row, pole position. So like I said, the pace was there, but obviously just didn't quite get that little bit of extra look that perhaps I needed.
Yep, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, that was a. Of course, yeah, starting in P1, those look like treacherous qualifying conditions. So, the half of it, to get yourself on the podium, you get the sense that the race could have gone so much differently had you not got your lap in there. Do you feel the pressure at all with that first lap? You pretty much absolutely blitzed everyone else with that qualifying lap in Q3.
I mean, that was probably maybe the first time in quite a while where I just kind of went into it with no real pressure. I mean, I wasn't even really thinking about it, to be honest, when I normally do. So yeah, I mean, it was tricky. It was a tricky race. Obviously, like a lot of guys, I think got held up in traffic and whatever. And I mean, fair play to him, and he managed the race well after he got into that position. So you know, I can't really fault him for that. But obviously, yeah, I think it could have been a different result, but still happy with the third, and of course Nicky as well getting some solid points for the team. So really good result for him as well.
Yep, congratulations to you on your P3.
Cheers, guys.
Now on to Jamham and P2. Do you want to take this one, Matt? Yeah, take it. Yeah, you can take this one. Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, so let's do that. So I take P2, and then we both interview the Grand Prix winner. So now we go with Jamham, who mate, you finished second place, and let's be honest, a win is not necessarily P1. Your nearest championship rival, Hupalicious, had an awful Grand Prix, so he's probably out of the question. Freeman won the Grand Prix, but let's be honest, now after all this, you're so far ahead in the championship. So are you? I have two questions actually for you. The first one: are you feeling confident that this is it? This is your year, and you're gonna win a championship once again? Because I do believe you're a three-time champion. And I will ask you if you feel like you can win it again. And I have another question as well, if you could ask that. Between you and your brother Hamjam, were you two helping each other to close the gap on Freeman, or was that just a coincidence?
Yeah, for your first question, one driver's title, but then got the constructors and joint constructors on the same season. But yeah, one driver's title. Hoping to make it two, as you say. I feel like I can do it for sure, but just take more performances like today. I think you said yourself, not a win on track, but definitely a result that's going to help me for sure. Obviously, I had a bad week last week, so to bounce back with P2 gaining 18 points, that's going to be crucial later on. And yeah, just hope to bring this consistency for the rest of the races. But yeah, your second question as well, for sure, me and Harry were helping each other. We needed to swap around with the battery when we could to try and close the gap. I think, like Harry said, Freeman got a bit lucky, but you know, he was in the right place at the right time, and you've got to benefit from those things and not make the mistakes like he did. So yeah, I think we had the pace for sure to maybe win the race, but yeah, second, gaining a lot of points won't do me any harm at all.
Indeed, a very, very good result for you. Yet another top 5 finish, and back on the podium once again after the mishaps of Hungary. Now on to our race winner, ABR Freeman. Well, you weren't even talking about anything close to a victory before this race, but here we are. So, well done on the win. Talk us through your race.
Oh god. Yeah, well, first off, well done, Ham and Jim. I don't know how I held that. Yeah, I'll turn off ABS for now. I really don't want to try ABS on again. I think it went well today. Wasn't really expecting much. I was just happy to get into the points, but qualified P2, so I thought maybe I could snatch the top 5 or even the podium, but not in my dreams. I was expecting to win. Yeah, decided to go for a little bit of undercut, try something different, because I knew Ham and Jam were going to be pretty quick. Yeah, that safe VSC came out really at the right time. I think I was just pointing to the box when it came out. I gained like a little bit of time and then had some pretty good pace, and yeah, just managed to get to the end. I was struggling a lot on my tires, obviously, because I pitted a bit earlier. I had 2 warnings, so I was just trying to manage to not get a pet and get a puncture. So, yeah, I don't know what to say to that. Just pretty happy with that.
Yes, of course. It's no easy task, of course, turning an assist off, and to manage that to a race victory in the first week of asking. Well, I mean, you couldn't have really hoped for better, to be honest. And of course, good points for the team as well. So congratulations on your victory. Any more you would like to add on that, Freeman? For your...
Not really much. I think I've
I have
said
one
everything I
question,
have to say.
Freeman.
Yep.
Just one final question to the Grand Prix winner. This is your fourth time this season that you have won a Grand Prix. Correct me if I'm wrong. And you've put it on pole plenty of times. You're showing that you are one of the top dogs here in this league. Of course, Jamham is a long way ahead in the championship. But, Italy is right around the corner. Do you feel comfortable in going into Monza? Do you feel like it's a good track for you? Or do you think that maybe you're going to struggle next week?
I usually don't do particularly well in Italy. I mean, I love the track. I think everybody else does, but I just struggle for pace usually. And especially with ABS off, it's going to take me a little bit to get up to speed. But yeah, good practice this week and see where we end up. But yeah, I obviously don't know yet. I'll have to see once I really get into it. But a top 5 would be probably a good goal.
Yeah, congratulations on your result. Yeah, time to celebrate. Anyways, now with 21 viewers still here with us, I say thank you very much for watching the stream. Thank you for being here with us. Really good stuff today. Really enjoyed the stream. Thank you, Freeman. Not Freeman. Thank you, Sam, for joining me today in the commentary box.
That's the second time you've done that today.
It is. It's just me being an absolute weirdo, but it's okay. We will see you guys next week for Monza. So if you enjoyed high speeds, high speed corners and cars going 300 plus kilometers per hour, you're gonna love next week's Grand Prix. So, well, that's it then. That's it for me. I'm Matt Silva. Bye, Sam. Bye, everyone. And I'll see you guys next week for the Italian Grand Prix.